Join our family of creators. Your support means the world to us. Subscribe now to the Content Creator channel. Your support keeps us motivated and helps us bring you fresh, exciting content every week. Hit that subscribe button and be part of our journey. The One Big Beautiful Bill Act, OBBBA, is a sweeping new law that touches nearly every part of American life. It changes how we pay taxes, shapes our healthcare, and sets new rules for the environment. The OBBBA is controversial and far-reaching, promising big changes and sparking fierce debate about America's future. The OBBBA is a massive overhaul of America's tax code and federal spending. It makes the 2017 tax cuts permanent and adds new tax breaks for seniors and wage earners. To pay for these cuts, the bill slashes funding for Medicaid, the Affordable Care Act, and food stamps. It also eliminates tax credits for green energy, shifting the nation's climate policy. Meanwhile, it boosts military and border security spending by hundreds of billions. The Congressional Budget Office projects the bill will add over $3 trillion to the national debt in the next decade. The OBBBA is a grand bargain. Tax relief for some, a smaller safety net for others, and a new set of national priorities. The heart of the OBBBA is its sweeping tax overhaul. The 2017 tax cuts become permanent, lowering tax bills for many Americans. New deductions target service workers, auto loan interest, and seniors. Most seniors will pay no federal tax on Social Security. But the biggest benefits go to the wealthy, with high-income earners seeing the largest tax breaks. Meanwhile, the lowest-income Americans may actually lose ground, as reduced benefits outweigh their tax cuts. Critics call it a reverse Robin Hood, relief for the rich, hardship for the poor. The new tax landscape is a windfall for some, but deepens inequality for others. The OBBBA pays for tax cuts by making deep cuts to healthcare and food assistance. Medicaid funding is slashed, and states can impose strict work requirements. Millions could lose coverage. ACA subsidies are cut, making insurance unaffordable for many. By 2034, 16 million more Americans may be uninsured. SNAP, or food stamps, faces a 20% funding cut, with stricter eligibility and lower benefits. These changes hit the most vulnerable, families, children, and seniors, hardest. Rural hospitals may close, and food insecurity is expected to rise. For many, the loss of healthcare or food aid means impossible choices and real hardship. The human cost of these cuts is at the heart of the OBBBA's controversy. The Omnibus Budget and Balancing Act, or OBBBA, marks a sharp and decisive turn away from the path of clean energy. This legislation signals a significant departure from previous policies that incentivized renewable energy development and adoption. One of the most impactful changes is that it eliminates crucial tax credits specifically designed to encourage solar energy adoption. These credits have been instrumental in making solar power more accessible and affordable for homeowners, businesses, and utilities alike. Without these incentives, the economic viability of solar projects is significantly undermined. The OBBBA's impact extends beyond solar, also targeting wind energy and electric vehicles. These sectors, which have been experiencing rapid growth due to supportive policies, now face an uncertain future. The removal of tax benefits could stifle innovation and slow down the transition to a cleaner transportation system. Ultimately, these changes translate to raising costs for both individual consumers and businesses across the board. As renewable energy becomes less competitive, reliance on traditional, often more expensive energy sources will likely increase, leading to higher utility bills and operational expenses. The consequences extend to the job market as well. The clean energy sector, a significant source of new employment opportunities, could face substantial setbacks, potentially leading to the loss of hundreds of thousands of jobs in manufacturing, installation, and maintenance. The financial burden on households is projected to be considerable. It's estimated that households across the nation may collectively pay as much as $170 billion more in energy costs over the next decade as a direct result of the OBBBA's energy provisions. Experts and critics alike are raising concerns that the U.S. will inevitably fall behind in the global race to develop and deploy renewable energy technologies, especially as other nations continue to aggressively invest in solar, wind, and other sustainable energy sources. The long-term economic implications of the bill's energy provisions are also a cause for concern. Some analyses suggest that these policies could shrink the nation's GDP by over $1 trillion by the year 2035, hindering economic growth and prosperity. Supporters of the OBBBA argue that it frees the energy market from government intervention, allowing for greater competition and potentially lower energy prices in the short term by prioritizing traditional energy sources. However, opponents strongly disagree, viewing the OBBBA as a significant setback in the fight against climate change and a major disincentive for innovation in the renewable energy sector. The OBBBA's energy shift is undoubtedly one of its most divisive and controversial features, sparking heated debates among policymakers, industry leaders, and environmental advocates. This policy shift is poised to have lasting and far-reaching consequences, impacting not only the nation's economy, but also the health of the environment for generations to come. The fundamental choice we face is whether to prioritize immediate cost savings and short-term benefits derived from traditional energy sources, or to invest in long-term sustainability and a future powered by clean, renewable energy sources. The path we choose will define our energy landscape for decades to come. The OBBBA pours billions into defense and border security. The military gets $150 billion for high-tech weapons, drones, and AI, aiming for a modern deterrent force. Border security receives $175 billion for wall construction, more ICE agents, and expanded detention facilities. The goal, up to 1 million deportations per year, and tighter control over migration. Supporters say these investments are essential for national security. Critics argue the money could be better spent on healthcare, education, or infrastructure. The bill's priorities are clear military strength and strict borders over domestic programs. The debate: what does real security mean, and at what cost? The OBBBA creates clear winners and losers. High-income earners and corporations benefit most with big tax breaks and a lighter tax burden. Seniors gain from new Social Security deductions. Middle-class families see mixed results. Some get modest tax relief but may lose out if they rely on ACA or SNAP. Low-income Americans are hit hardest, losing benefits and facing greater financial insecurity. Clean energy workers face job losses as green credits disappear. The bill redistributes resources upward, shrinking the safety net for those at the bottom. It fundamentally changes the government's role, deepening economic divides. The OBBBA's legacy: a new reality of winners and losers. The OBBBA's economic story is a complex one, filled with promises and potential pitfalls. It's a narrative that demands careful consideration, looking beyond the immediate headlines and delving into the long-term consequences of the choices being made. Is fundamentally one of short-term gain, balanced against long-term risk. It's a gamble in many ways, prioritizing immediate economic benefits while potentially mortgaging the future. We need to ask ourselves, is this a sustainable path? At the heart of this strategy lie tax cuts and new government spending initiatives. These are the levers being pulled to stimulate the economy, injecting capital and aiming to spur growth. These measures may indeed boost the economy for a few years, creating a temporary illusion of prosperity and progress. The initial impact can be enticing, with businesses expanding and consumers spending. We might see a small bump in GDP, a seemingly positive sign that the strategy is working. However, it's crucial to remember that this is just one piece of the puzzle, because the bill adds over $3 trillion to the national debt, a staggering figure that cannot be ignored. This debt represents a future burden, a liability that will eventually need to be addressed. This massive increase in debt raises future interest costs and risks, crowding out vital private investment. When the government borrows heavily, it competes with businesses for available capital. Higher debt inevitably could mean higher interest rates across the board, impacting everything from mortgages to business loans. This translates to making loans more expensive for families striving to achieve their dreams and businesses seeking to expand and create jobs. The ripple effects can be significant. Eventually, down the line, the government may face a painful choice, a moment of reckoning where difficult decisions must be made. That choice could be to raise taxes on citizens or to cut essential government services even further, impacting the lives of countless individuals. Supporters of the OBBBA argue that the projected economic growth will be sufficient to cover the increased debt, essentially paying for itself. However, critics warn of potential fiscal instability and a weakened social safety net, arguing that the long-term risks outweigh the short-term gains. The trade-off is a delicate balance, a constant weighing of immediate benefits against potential future consequences. And the core question remains: today's economic relief could very well mean tomorrow's economic crisis. The OBBBA essentially bets on immediate stimulus, hoping to jumpstart the economy and create a positive feedback loop. But the long-term bill for this stimulus may be steep, potentially creating a burden for future generations. Ultimately, the fundamental question is this: is the short-term boost worth the future pain? It's a question that demands careful consideration and a thorough understanding of the potential consequences. The OBBBA is more than policy. It's a vision for America's future. It shrinks the social safety net, prioritizes lower taxes, and invests in military and border security. For some, it means financial relief and opportunity. For others, it brings anxiety and hardship. The bill has created two Americas, divided by economic reality. The long-term effects on debt, health, and the environment remain uncertain. The OBBBA forces us to ask, what do we owe each other? What kind of future do we want? The challenge now: watch, measure, and decide if this big, beautiful vision delivers on its